So first of all, what I will do is I will walk you through the syllabus for strategic business leadership. The syllabus for strategic business leadership is, let me show you what the syllabus looks like. I'm going to refer to the study hub, which is basically in the public domain. Okay, so the four professional skills, I have already shared videos for that and more material to follow. We'll be looking at the concept of leadership and culture, then wherein we look at different leadership styles, what works best under what scenarios, what are some of the ethical and professional qualities that leaders need to possess, and we'll also be talking about organization culture. Then there is a discussion on professionalism, ethical codes, and public interest. You will see a lot of overlap of this topic in, if you have done AAA, for example, or if you have done any other P level paper, when you have done AA. So professionalism and ethical codes are discussed there as well. But there the perspective is that of an auditor. Here the perspective is that of a business leader. And when you are running a business, what are the points that you need to keep in mind? A discussion on agency and stakeholders. The what are the different stakeholders for an organization? What is their importance? How do you deal with different stakeholders? How do you keep them happy? Are there any rules and regulations behind that? The fourth topic in our discussion is going to focus on that. We'll then discuss governance scope and approaches. When I say governance, I'm talking about corporate governance, which you discussed in AAA in case you had taken AAA as one of your papers. But there you were looking at corporate governance from an auditor standpoint. Here you are looking at corporate governance from the standpoint of a business owner, a leader, somebody who is going to run the business, not someone who is a compliance specialist or an auditor. We'll move on to corporate reporting, where we'll understand some basic financial reporting frameworks, and then we'll go into integrated reporting, sustainability reporting, social and environmental effects, and other information that the management should basically keep in mind for successfully running their business. The discussion on board of directors, committees, and remuneration has again overlap with the AAA syllabus that you have studied, but we'll approach it again from a different point of view now. How should the board of directors be structured? What is the ideal composition of the board? Should the board of directors be later on, broken down into smaller committees? We'll try to understand that. What are the roles of these committees? How do you decide the basis of remuneration? How to tackle a public sector entity situation? What are, how does the business environment play a role in shaping the strategy? Is there something that you need to keep in mind? When I say environmental issues, I don't necessarily mean the environmental studies wala environment. I'm basically talking about the business environment here and how that shapes my strategy. One very important discussion is going to be on the competitive forces, where we'll speak about Porter's five forces model, the value chain network, and how you can turn how do you evaluate opportunities and threats, and how do you overcome the threats. There will be a discussion on internal resources, capabilities, and competencies. What are some of those points internal to a business entity that it can use in order to grow, in order to successfully overcome any challenges and struggles that it might face? Strategic choice and corporate strategy will focus on the direction that the business entity as a whole is supposed to take. Risk, there is a unit on risk strategy and identification, and risk measurement, assessment, and management. Our first focus here will be on identifying risk. Now, in audit, you looked at audit risk. In AFM, you looked at, the foreign exchange or the interest rate related risk. Here, you are going to look at business risk in particular, and how exactly do you tackle that business risk. One more point that you need to keep in mind is that in this case, when I do risk management, it's not business risk is a broad term. It includes everything else under that umbrella. So we'll have to get a deeper understanding of those individual risks also. There's a very interesting unit on technology and data analytics where I think you will have a lot of inputs in your mind because I was not born in the fast-paced technology age. I was born a little before that. So I have seen technology evolve, but you guys are actively using technology for everything, right from your chat GPTs to your iPhones to everything. So a detailed discussion on that, then e-business, e-marketing and IT controls and internal control systems, which will have again a linkage with audit, which is why I often recommend the students that you should not take strategic business leader as the first paper. Strategic business leader is, is a culmination of your ACCA journey. You studied to be an accountant first in SBR, then you studied how audit is done in AAA, or you took up advanced financial management and you thought like a treasury manager or a CFO. If you took advanced taxation, you understood how the taxation aspect of a particular financial reporting activity works and how to optimize a tax situation. And if you had taken APM, you worked accordingly. Strategic business leader is the culmination of your journey. Now you have passed all the stages from an accountant to a reporting head, to a tax head, to a finance head, to a performance management, a management consulting person. And now you are at the senior most level. You are running the business. And which is why, in my opinion, strategic business leader should not be the first paper. At least it can be a little later down the line. See, even if it is one of the earlier papers, it doesn't make a difference, because as you will realize, this is a paper, which doesn't go by rules. You have to think on your feet and you have to make your decisions accordingly. Your finance and strategy, financial analysis and decision making, budgeting, forecasting, control. You see, you will feel that, oh, I have seen this somewhere. Budgeting, forecasting, you have seen in performance management. Financial analysis and decision making, you have seen in FR, FA, FM. Organization structure and strategy, you have seen in BT. Internal controls, you have seen in AA. Finance and strategy, you have seen in FM. So you have seen all these subjects and now you are seeing all of them together. And you then, one of the later units is, of course, how to enable success for a business organization. How do you ensure that the transition, or how does process change take place, how does that transition work out for you, and how do you as a business person help in managing that change as the owner or as the leader. And the last part is about leading and managing projects. This is what your strategic business leadership syllabus is going to look like. So as I said, the SBL syllabus is a culmination of your entire journey in ACCA. You do this paper and now you are fit not just to handle financial reporting, not just to handle taxation, not just for these domain specific skills, but now you are a leader. You can lead organizations and lead by example.